Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing the good old fast Assassination Rogue. Honestly, I don't even know if it got buffed or not, but I've seen some crazy numbers as Assassination, mainly with Kingsbane hitting for like 300k. So, Assassination Burst has been pretty insane. I haven't played it since like week 1. I pretty much got 21, I was 2243, then I AFK'd out of a match. This was all like week 1 or week 2. And ever since then, I haven't even played a single match as Assassination because it just after I don't know if it got buffed or what, but I don't even see much of them either. I just happen to like somebody, I just put up the poll, people wanted to see Assassination, and then I logged on. I was like, okay, well let me see what the new meta is and stuff. So uh, I might be going back to Assassination for a little bit, so we might have some of the gameplay of that. Maybe push up an solo shuffle. I mean, three's Assassination Rogue with like a Destro or an Affy could be pretty good with an SP as well. But on to the video here. Um, we're gonna talk about gear first. So with your gear, specifically, let me make sure I get everything that I want down here. So you have a few options. So you can either run double dagger or you can go here and get there is a Hellbloom dagger. So you'll be able to get the haste first, this, and then you'll obviously be able to rank it up. If obviously if you have these, great, just buy it. Actually, I don't even think you can. Oh yeah, you can. So yeah, if you have these, just buy it. If not, just go over there, transform it, and you'll be the rocket. Obviously, I'm too lazy for all that. Now on my sub, I have I have the epic mace, but I'm probably not gonna go through all the effort for just some haste, especially when it's all mastery anyway. This spec, apparently everyone's running the good old fashioned four set. So good thing is all three specs of rogue runs four set. I have seen some sub rogues not running it, but for right now, we're gonna say four set is definitely gonna want that. You're gonna want the a mastery buff over 90% HP. You're gonna get a big mastery buff, which is obviously insane. You want the boots that help your primary stat every time you apply a loss of control effect on the enemy. So really just anything every 30 seconds. Now, you have two options here. You can either run the badge or you can run the haste. I would honestly just run the badge and put it with your shadow dance. That way, whenever you're bursting, you know, assassination, you have consistent damage, but you're also having a lot of burst since you're obviously going to get the crit from your Shadow Dance, and then you're also going to have these lit up bleeds that are going to do a lot more damage. So that's pretty much your gear. Everything else is pretty much the basics, not really much more to it, and that's pretty much it with that. So pretty much the same, literally the same stats for every rogue spec, so it doesn't matter what spec you're playing right now, it's all mastery. Unless you're playing like Outlaw full crit, then obviously you probably want to switch to mastery, but otherwise, that's pretty much it with your good old-fashioned gear. Now with your with your macros, let's see here. So mine's burst. Let me find it here. Shadow dance, blood view, racial. Honestly, we'll just make another one. I ain't gonna. Okay, so we'll just make a whole new macro, and I'll go. So we'll type it in as burst. We're gonna go down to shadow dance. Now you're gonna put cast your shadow dance. So let's put that first. And I'm just going to do this, guys, with you. So slash cast shadow dance, push enter, slash use. Go ahead and link your racial if you're an orc. If not, just do slash use, and then obviously shift click your trinket. And at that point, you've gotten everything you need. You have the only thing that you can put in there if you want to, honestly, which I probably would, just so you don't have to click that extra button on your burst, is go ahead and do slash cast, and go ahead and put thistle T in there too. So, boom, there's your new macro. And then obviously I just put my shadow dance wherever, that way I'm able to see it. So that's pretty much, that's your macro. That's literally the only macro I use other than my sap macro, which I'll show you right now. Let's see here. Um, sap times 2. I have a lot of these sap macros, which I need to go through, and so sap times 2 is going to be this one. So, um, I'll description, so because sometimes on the screen with small specific things that they have a hard time like getting it. So uh it'll be in the description. A lot easier to just go to description, copy it, and then just paste it, and you'll get it literally all down. So just go there, copy, paste, you're good to go. That's my stat macro. All this does is you click it, it's gonna target whoever's closest to you. It's really good when you're facing stealthies and stuff like that. And you don't even need a gouge macro because it automatically stops. I just use it just in case. It's not like, again, it's not, you don't need it because it automatically will take you out of combat. This way it's actually faster, I'm pretty sure, than it's forcing it instead of the ability. Sometimes you'll end up auto attacking again. It's happened to me before, so I just ended up running the macro. If you're not having that issue, don't run it. I mean, it's just slash cast gouge slash stop attack, pretty much the basic. And that is pretty much it with that. It's literally the only macros I run. I don't run no blind. I don't have blind macros or none of that good stuff. So, real quick, if you guys are wondering how I do my targeting and stuff like that, so we're gonna go to keybinds. You're gonna go to targeting, and then you're gonna go down to target or target nearest enemy player. As you can see, my thing's tabbed, so every time I tab target, it's gonna just target the person that I'm staring at. So if I were to like be right here, it's gonna target him. But if I'm looking this way, it's gonna target it would target these guys over here. So if they were an actual enemy, like they won't go on pets. It'll only go on the actual player. So that way it's a lot easier. You don't have to make a bunch of macros or not macros, but keybinds. Even though if you have the extra keybinds and you're used to using them, I would probably do it. It's gonna be a lot easier for, especially for like your blind macros and stuff. But we're gonna go to the add-ons here. Ability team tracker, obviously. Track. I'm pretty sure there's a reason I run ability team tracker, and I also run a CD, which is a party cooldown tracker. I would just run both. Right now I can't think off the top of my head why I run both of them, but I'm 90% sure there's a reason. So I would just get both, see if you like it, and obviously if it's too much, then just, use whatever one you want. So I have ability team tracker, big debuffs is obviously increases the crowd control effect, blah, blah, blah. Capping, pretty much every time I queue here, or it's not just for queuing. Sometimes in arena it bugs out, but it'll show up here what the ICD is. So whenever whenever that comes up. Now again, sometimes it doesn't work. Like sometimes I won't be able to see the eye. It's like sometimes it just doesn't want to work. So it's your call whether you want to get that. There's probably another better add-on that you can get that'll actually show you the time. Details. Obviously, everyone should automatically have details. Mainly because if you face another rogue, or you're able to see what you're doing wrong. Compared to, let's say you're watching a video of me and he's like, okay, he's doing a lot more damage. What am I doing different? So there's just a bunch of things that this can come, in handy for. Nameplate cooldowns is pretty much a must. I mean, everyone should already have this. Basically, you look over the nameplates, you're able to see their stuff. Omni bar, I only run that as a caster, because I don't want to have to look at their nameplates to look at their kick. And I have yet to get I wish there was an add-on that I could download that would just put my DR, like my teammate's DR and mine, like on the screen, and I could just move it. It hasn't. Every add-on that I've tried, I cannot find where I need it. Because having your own DR, being able to track it, because obviously if you're facing somebody who's kinning you off DR, you're gonna be able to pre a lot more stuff. So like, let's say you're about to come off DR, you can click feint pretty much every time you're about to come off DR, and you're gonna be good. So I haven't found an add-on for that, but whatevs. And then we have S Arena updated. So S Arena, obviously Gladiator has been a pretty questionable lately. So I mean, honestly, since season 1 of DragonFlight, I've just used S Arena. Pretty much this, the basics. Obviously, it kind of looks more clean too. You don't have a big box on your screen, just annoying. So, um, there's that. And then for my last add-on is obviously Trophy GCD. Obviously, that's going to show whatever abilities I pop. So it's actually good if you're trying to look at your gameplay. I just do it for content, obviously, so you guys can see what I'm pushing. But otherwise, if you're looking at your own gameplay and stuff, that's like the only other thing that I could think of that would be the good old fash. Now for your build, the build is going to be in the description. Um, one thing is I think you literally just go this to let's see, does extra damage when multiple enemies are affected, increases 20% per target up to 100%. So I think this is good using AoE like in the mix because obviously you're gonna do a lot more damage. I don't think it's like, you know, crazy damage, but it's like an extra ability. Like if you have everything bleeded up, then I would just use that. Like this is like an ability that you'd use to, like, if everyone's stacking and stuff, it's a good thing to use. Like if you have two more people stacked up, that button's worth clicking because it's gonna stack up damage. So, and it's obviously just an extra thing. Instead of using a, 80k of venom or 60k of venom, you can use a fat bleed on top of your other bleeds that's consistent, and it'll be doing it 24/7 every time you click it. So, other than that, let's get on to the build here. So this will be in the description again. Obviously, you guys like to see the good old-fashioned build. I wouldn't really switch anything out of this, so I'm not even going to talk about that. For your PvP talents, there's a few that you can run. Now, usually what it's going to look like is this. Hemotoxin, Smoke Bomb, and Dismantle. Now, let's say you can't disarm something. So, for example, there's certain stuff that disarm's not worth running. If it's a BM Hunter, you don't run Disarm. If it's a DH, you don't run Disarm. If it's a Windwalker, you don't run Disarm. So, pretty much those melees. So, if it's not like a Weir, a Rogue, stuff like that, it's not really worth running. Otherwise, you're just going to be using it like for an outplay for like you can disarm before he can fist. You can disarm before he can like before the DH can use his sweep, but it's like they are still able to click other abilities. They're literally just not able to click that one ability for 5 seconds. To me, it's not really worth it. Not when you can be running like, you know, Veil of the Midnight or just go for extra energy. So, that's pretty much that. But the only times I really run Veil of the Midnight is if I can't like let's say my disarm's useless, and sometimes if I'm having trouble staying alive, which it's probably not even worth running Control as King to be honest, because I mean again the reason Assassination went like bad in the first place is because it dies fast. So you have a lot of pressure, but if you get focused after your evasion, you're pretty dead because your vanish isn't gonna save you, and it doesn't reset any CDs. So as you can see, when I vanish, it's not gonna reset like it would on a sub. So you kind of have to use your vanish defensively. Don't be using it offensively. Now, if you're going for like a big one shot, sure, go for it. But otherwise, it's not worth it. You cannot use your. It's not. This is not like sub. You're not able, to use your cooldowns like that. You have to use it defensively. It's 100% must, unless you're almost killing in the opener. So let's say I open and off my stun, I'm vanishing into a grow off my dance, which is not even worth it because it's going to be DR by the time you get there anyway. But for example, like let's say you didn't have dance and he was close to dying on the second go, sure, go for it. But it's all up to just like what CR you're playing at and what cooldowns your teammates have and all that good stuff. But your normal is going to be dismantle. If you can't run dismantle or if it's not worth it, Veil of the Midnight. And mainly you want to use this. If let's say you're facing an assassination rogue or a feral druid or really anything that can bleed or anything in general, click it only when you need to, like on burst. So let's say I use this a lot versus assassin and ferals. So the moment they click all their bursts on me, like if assassination clicks all their abilities on me and I have that button up, it's gonna cancel out his entire 2 minute burst rotation, which is broken. So I use that a lot against, especially if I know the rogue is going me. But now we're gonna get into the rotation. So the rotation is pretty much the same as it's always been. You're pretty much gonna open with Groats. So let's say you go to sap the healer. If you can't sap the healer, you're just gonna blind the healer. So, um, you basically in solo shuffle you want to use your blind pretty much instantly. So if you get the sap, great. Go ahead and open, and then off your sap, you're gonna blind, and then just keep doing damage. If you can't sap in the opener, literally just blind, and more than likely you're not gonna be able to sap off of it because they're gonna have a second before if they get one GCD off, then you're not gonna sap it because you're gonna take 1 second after. So depending on how fast the person is or what cooldown they're clicking, you're not gonna get it. Obviously, if they just came out of stealth and they haven't clicked anything yet, and you blind them, then you're able to stab because they haven't gotten in combat first. But pretty much this is how it's gonna look for your actual rotation. So you're gonna open. Let's say there's two people here. You're gonna grow every single target. Now the only person that you might not want to bleed is the healer. That's so you can gouge him. And for your bleeds, you're always going to be running wound poison and crippling. So now you're not going to be breaking your own gouges with your deadly poison. So now you're able to just run up there and then gouge the healer, and it's not going to put any bleeds on him that can break. I'm actually recording this after I finish the entire video, but so it might be a little bit cut a little bit differently. But just a real quick reminder, I'm gonna show you the cheap shot version, but I wouldn't really do it. It's not really good to do because you don't have enough time, like I said. Well, as I'm gonna say again. So yeah, I wouldn't do it. But if you let's say you messed up your kidney and you have to do it, this would be how you would do it. So obviously you want to get your bleeds up like you normally would, even if you already messed up your go. Get your mutilates, get your full combo points. At this point, you're gonna shadow dance, cheap shot, shiv, deathmark, kingsbane into a venom. Now, obviously, you want to watch your stuns, because off your stun, you want to regrow. By the time that stun goes off, you're going to have your Shadow Dance still going to be up, so you're going to be able to actually grow your Cheap Shot. So you're going to basically use your dance, Cheap Shot, Shiv, Deathmark, Kingsbane, regrow off the stun, and then a Venom, and then mutilate, mutilate, a Venom. Boom. That would be how you would do that. So it's a little bit different, and obviously you're not going to get as much damage in, because, you know, you're still getting a lot of damage. So if you do mess it up, you're still able to, you still can kill something. It's just, it's not going to be, you know, you're going to have a harder time. It's a way faster pace. If you get stopped or you get peeled, you're not going to be doing much. Obviously, Kingsbane is going to carry you really hard if you just do the build naturally. So as long as you just do it like that, obviously just listen to what I'm saying and then just practice on a target, and you'll be pretty much good to go. So pretty much basic off your stuns, you're just you know slice and dicing and good old fashioned crimson. Other than that, kidney off DR and you're good to go. But that'll be the good old fashioned end of the video, or this will be the end of me talking right now. So you're gonna see me in the past tense when I already made the video. So uh, I'm gonna go now, but I'm not like going because you're gonna and you know what I'm trying to say here. So that's the cheap shot version. Now I'm gonna be showing you the kidney version. The past me is gonna be showing you that. So whatever I talk about at that point in time, this was in the past tense, and I'm recording this after the fact. So peace. Alrighty, so make sure you got your wound poison, all that good stuff. Now, just a reminder, I would always use your kidney on the main target, and then if you want to, cheap shot the off target, which would be the healer. So, honestly, you could do it the other way, but I think the problem would be is your build, like how Assassination works is it takes like 3 seconds in order for you to get everything off. So, if you're doing a cheap shot, by the time your cheap shot would end, you just then be getting over with instead of like having a 5 second kitting where you're getting extra 2 seconds of doing like a big venom or something. So um yeah, I definitely wouldn't do the kidney strat that I was suggesting. Even at high rate, I mean you could just cheap shot into a kidney on this guy, but I'd always cheap shot the healer instead of kidneying. But yeah, there's that. So pretty much your rotation is going to be pretty simple. Now, when you're in stealth, you're going to get these two growths. So it's stealth, vanish, or your shadow dance. You're going to basically get the garrote proc and the rupture proc. So what this does is when you click this and anything stacking, it's going to bleed everything. So what you're going to do is you're going to run at the healer, you're going to sap the healer. If the healer is a druid and he's in stealth, or you cannot sap. So if they're in combat already, then there's nothing you can do. So what you're going to do is you're going to throw out your blind, or you're gonna sap, whatever one works. But let's say you're in solo shuffle, use the blind instantly. Honestly, even in any type of situation, just using your blind early is really good. And then, like, obviously, you want to try to use your burst whenever the healer is CC'd. So I would suggest playing with something. I wouldn't like suggest playing a double DPS comp unless it's like obviously it's 3v3. But pretty much you're gonna run up, sap, blind, great. Now you want to be using your advantage defensively. Now you know, if your healer has CDs and you have CDs too, like let's say it's the start of the game, it's fine if you go for the sap off your blind, off your vanish, but at the same time, it does not matter that much. Because your only defensive cooldown after evasion is your vanish, and assassination rogues die really quick. So it just depends. If your healer's having a hard time ceasing, or not ceasing, but keeping you alive, just use your vanish defensively. Don't try to sap. Just go for the gouge. So, if you know you're having a hard time staying alive, don't worry about it. Run up there and gouge them. That's it. So pretty much, your opener is going to be this. So you're only using Crimson Tempest when people are stacking, otherwise it's not even worth using. So if there's two DPSs on top of each other, let's say you're facing a caster and a melee, and the melee's on you while you're on the caster, boom, go ahead and throw out a stack of that while you're not doing anything. Uh, obviously you want to keep up your slice and dice. It doesn't have to be a full stack, but obviously you're going to be healing off of it, so make sure you try to keep that, and it's also giving you maximum health or healing. So, pretty much your opener is going to be like this. It's literally the most basic thing. You're going to run up there. You're going to grow. You're going to get mutilate, rupture. So now we've got our bleeds up on every target. We're going to get combo points. Let's say they're stacking. Great. I'm going to use my crimson. I'm going to get combo points again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shiv, kidney, shadow dance into all my CDs. So, it's a little bit confusing, but obviously you're most likely going to be using your burst in the very opener. So pretty much the moment you open, don't try to hold your burst. Um, People that do that, it's just not, it doesn't work out. It just doesn't. Because if you face somebody good, you're going to be holding your CDs for 5 minutes before you kill somebody. Instead, and that's if you kill somebody, if it's a super high damp. So just use your CDs almost instantly every single game. There's no point in holding your CDs anymore. You need to just pop off. By the time you would click them, you'd already have a whole another set with this is not worth doing. So run up their bleed if you can. Go for the crimson. It doesn't have to be a full stack. Honestly, any stack is just extra damage. It's not worth wasting all your time on it, but it is worth clicking it whenever you have the time. So if you get CC, don't click it. If this is like mid game, go ahead and click it. But like on your go, I probably wouldn't click it because then you're just wasting time. By the time you're gonna get everything off, your bleeds are gonna be off again. It's not gonna be a fun time. So let's just not click Crimson on our burst go. So we're gonna run over CC. So we're gonna grow, mutilate, rupture, boom. We got all our bleeds up at this point. Mutilate, mutilate, and now we're ready for the kidney. So we're gonna basically shiv, kidney, shadow dance into our death mark, into our Kingsbane. So we're gonna personally just put my bleed up again. So pretty much that same opener, except now you're going to shiv, kidney, shadow dance, death mark, into a Kingsbane, into mutilate, into a venom, and then obviously off the stun you can just regrow. At this point, you're just going to keep doing damage, and that's pretty much your burst. It might seem a little bit complicated. Obviously, I'm doing it in kind of slow-mo to give you the thing, but as you can see, an insane Kingsbane. Obviously, it's not going to be 400k in Arena, but it's gonna be 300Ks. It's literally fat burst, and that's not even what the bleeds did, which obviously they're gonna do a little bit less. I mean, they'll probably do about this damage. So overall, you're gonna get a lot of damage, and it's gonna be quick. And then on top of that, you're also getting Shiv, and the reason Shiv's good is because obviously, Hemotoxin and Soul Shuffle especially, really messes healer up. And on top of that, now you're having a lot of, burst damage, which is really kind of needed as stash right now. So, again, you're going to open. If you CC the healer, great. If you can't, just open anyway. Get your bleeds up. By the time the healer does open, throw out your blind. If you see somebody else has a CC, just go in and do your regular burst. That's all you're doing. It's not hard to do. So, pretty much garrote, mutilate, rupture. At this point, great. We have our stuff. Now we're going to mutilate. Shiv, kidney, shadow dance macro, into our death mark, into our Kingsbane, and at this point, off the stun, we can regrow to get the silence effect, and then a venom off that. And after this point, we're keeping up those bleeds, and we're venoming. Now, at this point, if they're still stacking, make sure you get your bleeds up before you click Crimson or your Slice and Dice. So at this point, let's get some Slice and Dice rolling. Why not? We're going to get heals off of it. We're going to regrow because obviously it's going to be coming off soon. At this point, if they're both stacking, sure, I can throw out a good old-fashioned Crimson. At this point, once it comes off DR, just do the same exact thing. Go ahead and run over there, gouge the healer. So boom, we gouge this guy. We're gonna run over Shiv, and then we're just gonna kidney him, and then we're just reapplying bleeds and envenoming. So if you obviously want to try to re-bleed before you kidney. So if you have your bleeds up, great. Just go ahead and throw out a kidney. Keep your slice and dice up. It's a main thing you need to focus on. Whether it's a 3-stack. Now you want to try to probably get like a 3 or 4 stack. That way you're not having to do it every single 5 seconds. But that's literally your burst. It's not a hard rotation. Obviously, if you don't run around the badge, you don't have to. But you're going to get a fatter Kingsbane. There's going to be a better RNG because you're getting main stat wise and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you again. So, and let's say you're doing a mini go. I would suggest you not using Vanish, even if it's just not going to be worth it because you're going to be able to die insane. Like this probably is one of the specs that can die faster than like any other spec in the game. I think it's like probably it's just because it just dies insane. It dies way too quick. Now, obviously, it just depends on your healer, to be honest. If you have a high CR healer and you're trading your cooldowns properly, it's not going to feel that bad. If you're playing with a healer that's not really good and it doesn't know how to trade CDs properly, you're going to be dying insanely quick. It just all depends on the situation. But if you know you're fine, go ahead and throw out the vanish on an off go. But otherwise, you're not going to. So again, we're going to say the burst. Open with a garrote. Get your bleeds up. So garrote, mutilate, rupture, boom. Got our bleeds up. At this point, we're going to Shiv, Kidney, Shadow Dance macro, Death Mark into a Kingsbane. At this point, we can go for mutilates and venoms. Now off our stun, we can re-garrote to get the silence effect. It'll be DR'd from when you first open, but you're just getting that extra silence effect for 2 seconds, and then you're also getting the extra garrote damage again. So again, we're going to open, boom, mutilate, rupture. At this point, we're ready to bleed up. So we have gotten our bleeds. We're going to basically Shiv, Kidney, Shadow Dance macro, Deathmark, Kingsbane. At this point, we're going to mutilate a Venom, mutilate, re-garrote off the stun, a Venom, re-mutilate, mutilate, a Venom, mutilate, a Venom. At this point, go ahead and start bleeding up the other targets because he's alive at this point. So we're probably going to be swapping off on CDs after he's perfectly fine. And then boom. At that point, all you're going to do, so you always want to have bleeds up on everything. Now, obviously, if you're playing with something like a setup, if you're playing with somebody who's required to do setups, so unless you plan on going the healer, don't bleed the healer. Now, obviously, if he's sitting in the mid and you see your teammate swapping him, go ahead and throw your bleeds out, kidney him, boom. But don't just go out of your way to, because you're gonna break all your gouges, all of everything. So it's probably not worth that, and I probably wouldn't suggest it because it's gonna annoy a lot of people that you're playing with because they're never gonna be able to CC. But that's pretty much it. Now on your off goes, obviously you're gonna have Shadow Dance before you have your Death Mark, so you're doing the same thing. So you want to line up your Kingsbane with your Shadow Dance every time, no matter what. Same thing with your Badge Trinket. Now, if you're running out of energy, the good thing about Thistle Tea is you're gonna have it up a lot. So you're able to do your Thistle Tea on off goes. So don't worry about it. If you're running out, I mean, you have 3 of them. It's like they're a super short CD. I mean, 1 minute for 3. So that's 3 minutes worth of, so you click it once a minute and you're fine. So that's pretty much it. For your burst rotation, I'm pretty sure that's it. Now on your off goes, I'll show you what an off go would be. So obviously, we're gonna Shadow Dance. So what you're gonna do is kind of different than what you would usually do. But if you want the bonus effect from your Shadow Dance, all you're going to do is, so instead of using my Shadow Dance just on a kidney, we're just going to use our Shadow Dance. So obviously if you already have bleeds up, great. But if you want the extra damage from garrote, that's really the main reason. So you're going to Shadow Dance, garrote, rupture, so you get the extra damage, and then just do your normal rotation. So at this point, Shiv, kidney, and then we Death Mark and basically Kingsbane. At this point, we're just going to mutilate a Venom, mutilate a Venom, mutilate, put up garrote, a Venom. And as you can see, we're doing pretty good damage. I mean, overall, a lot of damage from a lot of abilities. So on your off go, you're just going to Shadow Dance and Kingsbane. Obviously, you want to Shiv before your kidney, or that's what I do. I used to do it after, but then I seen people that were doing it different. I was like, well, we probably should just do what they're doing. We'd be alright. So that's pretty much it. There's not much to it. Obviously, on your side note, like if you're not stunning, if you're just after you have your bleeds up and you're pretty much good to go, for the kidneys, go ahead and get your slice and dice rolling. Just use your fan of knives to get combo points. So if you have all your bleeds up and you need combo points quickly, just fan of knives. It's going to be your fastest way. So at this point, boom, we can pop off this. We're going to regroup. We're going to bleed the other targets here. So boom, get a rupture going. So if we already have bleeds on everything, you don't really have to Shadow Dance, but you're also going to get the benefit from it. So again, we're just going to do the same thing. So Shadow Dance. So that's if we don't have our burst, obviously. So boom, get our bleeds rolling. Even if you don't, it's fine. Even if you already have bleeds rolling, it's still good. Because you're going to get that extra bonus effect. Now, obviously, it's really good to also use it for all, like on a kidney. So like don't if you don't want to do that, it's not a big deal. Literally just do your normal rotation. It doesn't like it's not gonna matter that much. It really is not. So if you already have bleeds up, just go ahead and shiv kidney, shadow dance, and then just go for your King's Bane. Boom, perfect. No problem with it. I don't even think there's that much of a difference on it other than the silence. Because you're going to be doing a lot of bleed damage regardless. And it's not like it's going to be a crazy difference, I don't think. So, obviously you'd have to test it yourself to see, you know, if there is a big difference or not. Obviously I haven't tested an arena. Because I don't know how nerfed it is or how nerfed stuff is in arena. But I've seen other people playing it. So, again, one more time. Uh, and just a reminder here. I know a lot of people ask me who's your target. So if you're facing a caster with a melee on your team, so let's say it's a double caster team, you want to go the person who dies the quickest. So usually you're never going mage. I've seen a lot of people go mage. A mage will not die to two melee. So if you're two melee, you need to go after a stationary target that's standing still. So if you're facing an SP, you want to be going SP. Now, if it's a Destro lock or a lock in an SP, you're most likely going to be going the lock. So it just depends. It all varies. You need to go whoever's doing the most damage. Because if you're on that target, they're never going to play the game. So if you see someone doing a lot of damage, you need to be going on that target. Because if you're seeing them and they're just doing unhealable damage, if you're letting a boomy free cast and you see that he's just doing unhealable damage, and then when you go him, the other guy's not doing as much damage, you want to go on that target. Don't go. You cannot let somebody who's doing triple everyone's damage. Most casters do that, which that's just how it goes. But uh, you know that's just how it is. So you want to go people that are not only are doing the most damage, so you can stop them from doing damage, but let's say you're playing double melee, you want to go whoever dies quickest. So if you're facing a DK, you're usually going to want to go DK. If you're facing an assassination rogue with like another melee, you're usually going to want to go assassination rogue. You got to look for the easiest person that there is to kill. Now, I might just make a tier on the easiest classes to kill, make like examples. If you guys want to see that, then I'll make a video on that. But I'm trying to see if I forgot anything. Obviously, this is the most basic stuff. It's pretty much the same generic version as it's always been. So if you guys did enjoy this video, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Obviously, I'll be trying this in solo shuff and all that good stuff tomorrow. So I'll have a video out of that. And you guys will actually be able to see it, firsthand. But let me know what you guys thought. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace. Actually, you know what? Before I say peace, peace, I actually said it already. If you haven't already, make sure you comment on the video for the algorithm offs. If you haven't already commented, damn, I don't know what you're doing in life, but make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. We're almost at 5K, so let's hope. Let's go, hurry up. So there's that. Let's go. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and keep it vibing. Otherwise, that'll be it with the good old Fash X. So peace, peace, boys.